Hey everyone, it's Robin DeGroot, and this is TLC, Truth, Love, Creativity. I have not been on for a while, and I just wanted to make sure I got at least one video and podcast in by the end of August. I've kind of done at least a video a month in the last few months because they've been crazy. I did a lot of videos in March. I think late February, March, I did make a goal to get as many videos online as I could, and then I was working with the whole situation that was causing a lot of fear and people not really visiting anymore. So I got this other job, and now I am kind of busy again, so things are coming back online and in the real world, so that's great. And I have still tried to keep a general video presence going on, mostly the podcast too. But it's not my main source of income, so it's always just a support to have a presence, and so that if people want to know what I am about and what I'm trying to teach, everything right now, you can hopefully find all of that online. If you just look up my name with an M in the middle, Robin M. DeGroot, then you will probably find quite a lot of good stuff. And that's my website name also. So you can always find the podcast, the YouTube channel, all my social media through my website and more. And a lot of pictures, some kind of exciting pictures that I've been doing throughout this entire year. And the pictures are some of my adventures into speaking and going to places with higher status and more significant oomph for my getting out there, and I'm pretty excited about that. You will see some new ones come up from early August. Soon I'll have those ready and start to post them. And that was a closed conference that we did with a lot of health checks and many doctors as part of our group. And it was very exciting, and I'm really excited to show you all about those photos and some of the stuff we learned and the people we were connected with. Now today I am doing a reading. I wanted to talk about the one card that I picked, and that is Aeon or Aeon. I'm not sure how you would say it, but they do talk about the ions or eons of time, which is how I would read it as Aeon. Otherwise, I would say Ion. But this card is about discernment and kind of about judgment, which is interesting because it talks about the Greek gods and the moon, and it's kind of stylized into these big giant arms, but the goddess bringing in the stars and night. And then at the bottom there's a ball of fire with the wings. And this is the sun god, and together they make the child Horus, which is the kind of see-through being. And Horus, the child Horus, holds within it the both light and day, light and dark, and night and day, and is able to have a more clear idea of a broader picture about what to discern from. Now, I'm purposely using discernment because they also say discriminate, and I just think that word has really been altered in its meaning, even though it has a lot of similar meanings to discernment. And I don't want it to get confused because it's a pretty difficult climate out right now, especially online. And I was interested that this card is what came up. So if you're feeling this, then I hope this has some kind of information that will help you. And it did for me. It was actually about taking in all of these different aspects. There's also at the bottom the three figures, which are body, soul, and spirit in those little capsules. And they talk about those as what will help the mind to create discernment. And the mind is represented by the serpent at the top, which is, it has all of this knowledge and everything available to it, but it doesn't become something judged upon until it's within our own experience. And I've been really feeling that. It's like, how are all of these things truly coming to pass, and what do they mean outside of my experience and then within my experience? And this card talks a lot about you need to take all of these things into account, and then with time, they're like eons and eons of time, then it all starts to formulate a picture where you're able to find out what you want to do with this information about how experience and whatever is going on in the world and in yourself is coming to have some meaning. And there's a detachment that actually happens once it's from your experience, but then it becomes like the universal experience. And in some level, that's a whole other level that becomes another way that we can see that all of these things will always be happening in a certain realm. And then when they get through these different levels of our own experience, we can now have a way to evaluate them, find the discernment, and really somehow use it for our own judgments and ideas of what we need to do with our life and with what's going forward. Now, I read an article in a paper, a very special paper that I get. It's not just a regular city paper, but it's got a really good lifestyle section and mind and body as well. And one part of it talked about working on your inner world, and then how that's so important to our lives right now, because it's always important, and right now it's kind of like all our inner worlds have a real intensive incubation opportunity, and then eventually they always come back together to create a big world made up of all our inner worlds. So that's kind of what life is always about. And I've always rejected blame because I do believe it's a easy way out, kind of. And there are problems, I won't deny that. There's multiple levels of a multitude of problems in the world and in people's own lives and in my life and all of the things. I will fully agree with that. But there is no real use and good that comes from blaming. So I liked that article that talked about your inner world and work on your inner world. And even as much as it's simple, even just taking certain vitamins and things that you know keep you on track and get your equilibrium where you know you're good, then that helps. In the holistic sense, it's like your inner world and your outer world, they're all combined. So you do have to keep up with everything. And when I think about not just the mineralization and vitamins and all those things, I also think about food. I've been affected most of my life by what I eat, and not only physically, but emotionally. So I remember when I would have a lot of sugar or sweets, and alcohol was even worse, I would have depression days after, because I do have this real highs and real lows that come just from the way that my body metabolizes things, especially sugar. And I didn't know for a long time that I had an adrenal condition, which was basically instigated by my pituitary gland. But this Cushing's disease that I had for many years really messed up my metabolism of carbohydrates. So that is another factor. But I do see it with a lot of people, that when there becomes a prolonged cycle of some of these extreme blood sugar manipulative foods and drink, then it can throw you for a bit of a loop, and that becomes hard to remain at something equal that you feel good. So I've been kind of just doing my own thing these days because I want to do the things that I know agree with me. But I'm starting to get out more and patron a few restaurants here and there, especially if I am traveling, which I have done a little bit each month. And except for April, it's probably the only month I didn't travel, but I worked a lot more in the store. So I've been happy that I did that. I'm happy that I continue to do that because I do think things are starting to slowly open up with this little glimmers of things coming back to life. And I'm happy I stayed in it because it's not too different for me right now. And I just want to support people as they continue to start to get back into the world and into people's lives again. And I am all about expression. So I hope that some people were able to document some of their feelings as these things were going on, whether writing or making some kind of video vlogs or anything like that. Because this is an important time. We had over half a year of this completely different world, and I want people to continue to express the feelings that they're feeling. And that brings me to another point. Some people were talking about, oh, well, in all of the argument about what's going on, and there's a lot online especially, and interpersonal relationships, but then some people will say, oh, I just go by facts and there's logic and all this stuff. And someone just brought up online, one of my friends, that even if you're looking at facts and logic, there is emotion involved. And it doesn't mean that facts and logic are a higher level of importance and better way of being than being emotional. Because you do have to always, like this card was saying, you have to discern what you actually believe to be true. And because there's so much information out now, you can't just take anything as being true. So I just have never done that because I've always been taught to question everything and to come from a place where I have some personal connection with something and then really go from there. So this kind of went with the card as well. It takes time, it takes all these different levels before you really rush to judgment about anything. So I hope that people are able to get out there more and more, feel like your inner world is being supported and it's robust, and really be able to reserve judgment because everything is still ongoing. And just always try to look for the side of good. And right now there's also a lot of tension in the social justice arena, which I understand. And I'm still going to continue to do what I've always done, and that is fight for the side of positivity and good. Whatever that can be, I will work towards that. And the way I've always taken people into my own realm is with an open heart, and a person is a person and a person is uniquely them. So that's how I continue to be, and I hope that many people are, and that we find some peace on a larger level coming up right now. So if you had any comments, let me know. I'm always interested when there's some interaction with the videos, and then the podcast, the same thing. That'll be great. I have at my website, you can find my videos, because I don't quite have the name in my YouTube yet. So it's on my website, Robin M. DeGroot. And you can also take a look at my services page if you are interested in doing anything online, or if you are in Tucson area or anywhere in Arizona, I can most likely meet up with you and do some in-person work as well. But I am doing the online session. It's 45 minutes to an hour, and that one is all about expression, learning about yourself and your makeup astrologically, numerologically. I use cards. I use this tarot deck, and then I have many oracle decks. I also use the runes and I Ching and many other ways to try to get to the intuitive side of your own situation. So those are my ways that I link to something that's more on the spiritual realm of what the universe is guiding you to do. And you can pick those, or I can pick them on your behalf in that kind of setting. And that's why they can be done online as well. So when I have an online session, it's a lot about your mindset, your equilibrium. Let's know more about you, how you might react to things, and how to best feel the best in these situations. So I hope you all have a great day and week ahead, and we're heading into September. I'm very excited. See you all next time.